Good morning, traders. Today is Wednesday, June 30th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. The Pirate Traders live stream. We're live and we're streaming. Okay, so let's take a look at what's happening in the market here. So we've had a lot of excess pushing us up to higher prices here. Okay, creating some poor lows, some gaps, some more weak references, another poor low. But it has all been because of the momentum that the market has had to the upside here. And that continued into the day yesterday. But yesterday we had a first sort of nuanced change to the way the market acted as opposed to the way it's been the last few weeks, which is normally we have sort of a balancing day that then spikes higher at the end of the day. And then the overnight session then balances at a higher price. That's been literally what's been happening every single day. Okay, well, last night, that's not what happened, right? We didn't get a spike up. We had a sell-off towards the end of the day that came right back into balance, okay? So that was less bullish at the end of the day. And now we've had an overnight session that did not explore higher prices, but in fact explored lower prices and put in a majority of its volume beneath yesterday's range. So that's a huge difference between what we've been seeing where the overnight has been bullish, right? So I'm taking that as a potential first note that the market's momentum, which is the thing that's been pushing us higher and higher and higher, may be coming to an end, right? Jim Dalton would call it an aging trend. The trend is getting old and it's getting weak, okay? So right now we are at the lower end of yesterday's range. Remember, if the market opens in the previous day's range, it increases the odds of chop early in the morning. But if we open below yesterday's range, it will be a gap down. So gap rules will be in play. Looks like we are opening inside the range. So that increases the odds of chop. Okay. Also a reminder, it is the quarterly options expiries today. Sometimes you see a muted market, a condensed sort of profile on days where you have options expiries. So just something to keep in the back of my mind. Doesn't mean it has to happen, just that it can. Okay, so just to start off the morning here right, we've started with a poor low right out the gate from the opening bell. Remember, we often get a push away from a poor low, but the market almost always comes back to repair it at some point. Increasing the odds of chop. All right, well, good morning to Nor Auto Trading. Good to see you, brother. Welcome. Marco is here. Ricky Bobby back with us. Good to see you. RK Leon, good morning. Bull Bear Rider is with us. Good to see you. John is with us. Good morning. Philip is here. Revolution is back. Good to see you, brother. RK Leon, may your trades be quick and your profits fat. Sounds good to me. Chris, good morning to you. Philip, good morning. Kim is back with us. Good to see you. Miles is here. Good morning. Miles is going to short the cross back through the open. You'll almost certainly get at least a couple ticks to get that repair of the poor low. And good morning, Gianfranco. Good to see you. Welcome. Kim's going to play the Dow today instead of the ES. Interesting choice. I agree, Malcolm, that it'll be an interesting day. Today we'll find out if this momentum can continue or if it comes to an end. The version of it coming to an end would be not being able to get above the overnight high, right? If we pushed up into where the prominent POC is from overnight, and we meet some resistance there, and then we get pushed back down to repair these weak references left behind from the 28th, that would be a sign that the momentum is over. And then we would start to worry about all the weakness below that's in need of repair, including the bottom of the gap. Naif is here. Good morning to you. Okay, internals opening a little bit bearish today, but they are pushing up into the positive zone. You got the advancers versus decliners getting above the 0 line. The ticks seem mixed. NYSE a little bit more bullish than NASDAQ. Still indicates chop here early in the morning, but to a slightly more bullish tone. You're pushing through that 20 moving average. That is bullish. We can now ask the question, will it be support when it pulls back down to that 20? If it is, that is extremely bullish for continuation to the upside. Hi and Speedboat, good morning to you guys. Yeah, it's a little too early to say doing a decent job. They got to get above that zero line on the ticks to really create some momentum. But yep, there are definitely buyers stepping in here. So the question becomes, does this node of volume from yesterday act as resistance as the market tries to push its way in there? So one thing that's worth noting here, looking at the overnight, um, so most of the time was spent up here in yesterday's range, okay? But most of the volume was put in down here below yesterday's range. So that goes to show you that up here at this level, there wasn't much of an appetite to do business. But as soon as they got a liquidation, the buyers started to step in and they pushed the price back up. Okay? So there is an appetite just below yesterday's range to buy, which could be, and again, this is just kind of guessing at this point. We don't know for sure, but this could be the sign that the momentum is still in the market, that those momentum buyers are still in charge. Because as soon as they started to lose, they stepped in and were able to push price back up. So let's see. Again, we have to see how they handle this potential resistance from the node of volume from yesterday. Okay. Morning, Jitten. Good to see you. Mudra, good morning to you. Welcome. Rob, thank you for the reminder and welcome to the stream. Yes, please smash that like button. 16 likes just ain't gonna cut it. We got to speak directly to that YouTube algorithm and be like, yo, algorithm, send more people to the pirate. So please smash that like button. It's a great way to show support for the channel. Okay. So the question from Akbar is, do I look at yesterday's value area high? No, not at all. I don't pay attention to, in terms of like support or resistance, I don't pay attention to value area highs and lows. I only pay attention to value area in relation to other value areas. Okay, but coincidentally today, right at that value area high is the last sort of major big node of volume. So that's sort of the end of the resistance to the upside. So where you see this weak E period high, if the market is able to push up here and get a few ticks above that, repairing that weak reference, and then it pulls back down and finds support. Let me just get that pen tool up here. Okay, so if the market pushes its way up above that high, then comes back down and it starts to find support in this node of volume, and then it starts pushing up again, that's extremely bullish. But what is more likely is that we get up into here, find some resistance, and then push back down to repair that poor low from this morning. So let's wait and see what happens at this node. Right now it's 50-50. It can go either way. Good morning, Donkey. Welcome. Good to see you. Okay, so far with that first attempt to get into that node of volume right there, see, as soon as we entered it, we found resistance and got a push down. So we're going to keep watching. Does that happen every time we try to get in here? If it does, that's a sign of resistance up in here. That could lead us to trade back down to that poor low. Okay. Otherwise, it's worth noting this is actually really good taper down here. So if it weren't for the fact that it was one tick off from yesterday's low, this would be a great low. But because it's one tick off, I think it's suspect. So I'm keeping an eye on this as resistance. Nav Trader, good morning to you. Welcome. And Design Knob, good to see you. All right, let's pop over to the queue. Okay, so the NASDAQ is looking a little more bullish than the ES this morning. It's overnight traded higher, okay, which is bullish. Did not trade lower, which is what was so bearish about the ES this morning. Right now, we are building value overlapping to higher, only slightly overlapping to higher, but it is overlapping to higher. Look for support at yesterday's halfback, which is like 14,528. If not, this node of volume just below it, which is around 14,516. Okay. Okay, we've now passed through that 20 moving average on the 15-minute candles for both indices, which is a sign of rotation, a sign of uncertainty. Okay, looks like the market wants to trade back down to that poor low. Strong resistance. Look at what they did to the breadth. The advanced reverse decliners. Yanked it all the way back down below zero. All they had to do was barely push their way up into this node, and it brought in a wave of selling. So that is the first sort of signal that this is going to act as resistance here. Which would also, again, be a sign that the momentum in the market might be coming to an end. Pavel, your timing, brother. You just missed the cue. And now we're never going back again. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, let's do it. So yeah, NASDAQ looking a little bit more bullish than the ES. Value is overlapping to higher. The base of the end period spike from yesterday. So you're saying it bounced off of this level right here? Yeah, I got to switch my settings. I don't think I'm going to keep this as end period anymore. I think I'm going to make this A period for the overnight. Interesting to think how much different this profile might look under those circumstances. Okay, back to the ES. So once again, on an attempt to repair this poor low down here, keep in mind we got this node of volume literally just below it that could act as support. So you may only get a couple of ticks down here. Let's see what happens. If it gets below yesterday's range, tries to push back up and finds resistance at this level, that would be a good short for further downside continuation. But let's wait and see first. Nick, good morning to you. Welcome. For those of you just joining us, what we're looking at here is a little bit of chop, chop, chop. The market's feeling chop, chop, chop. Essentially, it feels like, and this is at this moment is not verified by the market-generated information, but it feels like the momentum might be coming to an end here, with the overnight last night not being able to get above yesterday's range. And now the market is just experiencing that chop that you often get in the first hour of the day when you open inside the previous day's range, and there's some uncertainty about where the market is going to go. So we're looking for potential resistance up here in this node of volume from yesterday between 42.85 and say 42.88. Okay. If the market is able to push through that resistance to the upside, come back down and find support, it's a really good long trade for continuation to the upside. Same thing with yesterday's low to the downside. If we push down there, we repair that poor low and then find support in this node of volume right here, that is a good long trade. Whereas if we push through, come back up and find resistance, that is a good short. But right now, with the market grinding its way up and down inside this A period range, it can just keep going forever. It can just keep shooting up and down and up and down. So we really need to see it break out above or below one direction and then trade based on that. Unless, of course, you're a scalper, in which case, go to town. Enjoy the chop, my friend. All right, guys. Well, we're starting to get a little bit of a push higher here. So let's see what happens when they take another attempt at this node of volume. Does it continue to act as resistance? Or can we break on through to the other side? Fausto, good to see you, brother, in the chat. Is today the day we dump? Could be. Could be. Right? Honestly, I really am not exaggerating when I say right now it's 50-50. I could see a case for we break through this node of volume and the momentum buyers just keep pushing us to new all-time highs and crank us all the way up here, maybe looking for that magical 4,300 number. But I could also see us hitting resistance right here, fighting a good fight, and then that causing a sell-off that takes us to the poor low. And then if we fall down below yesterday's range, that brings in the liquidation to get us down here to start repairing some of this weakness. I can literally see both scenarios as possible here this morning. I must just wait for the market to tell me which it wants to do. Donkey saying no because of those quarterly options expiries. He doesn't think the market can run away from us, which would mean a rotational day stuck in this range. If it is a rotational day, we've got some excellent resistance above and support below, so it should be a good one to trade. But again, too early to make that call. Philip, it's a nice idea, but for me to get to 7 contracts would be insane.